Yeah, welcome to our first live workshop. My name is Forrest. I'm Forresto in the Discord and on Cuttle. Um, and I've been using Cuttle for about a year now. And I joined the team in February to build the interface, the editor. Um, yes, and so today I want to show a few designs that I've done with layered cardstock and Cricut. But you can do these designs with scissors and ruler, and you don't really need special tools for this. But Cricut and Cuttle go really nicely together, just because the amount of control and detail that you get. So here are some designs that I've done. Some are just experiments. This box is all the sides are 2 layers of cardstock, and then there's joinery here. We have a few tutorials and write-ups about like this kind of finger joint design, but it can work even with this like just 2 layers of cardstock that's like less than a millimeter is enough for them to hold together, and with some glue it's quite sturdy like this. So I think there's a lot of potential for that kind of joinery. I made this. This is a modifier that if you put in any shape like this, then it'll make the strip that you need to fold and glue to make it like a spatial thing. So that's fun. I did these over the weekend and shared some tips with this. A friend of ours gave us this star that is a pentagon that folds into an origami star, and from that I figured out how to do different numbers of points. So I have 6, and this one is 8. This one's 7, and this one is 8, I guess, and one of them's 9, and this one's 13. So yeah, that was fun to experiment with and use Cuttle's parameter design. This one is a paper disc, and it's called a phenakistoscope. And if you look through these slots at a mirror and spin it, these moons become animated, and you can kind of see it with a webcam. I have a rendered version that's a little bit clearer, what that looks like. So yeah, that's another layered design, layered cardstock. That includes a pen on the front layer. So I did a design that included pen and then 3 layers of paper. And then I actually sewed them together on the edge with thread, and the holes, I'm pretty sure the holes were in the design. So all I had to do was use a needle and thread to do this. And so what we're going to make today is going to be a mask like this. This owl mask has several layers, and you can kind of see that it gives some rigidity to the design. And when I was designing this, it was flat, but then as I was gluing it together, I thought it would be nice to leave these kind of free to move around. So that gives a little motion and animation. That's something nice from costume design, and like Muppets use that a lot, like feathers and fur that move around and give some extra animation to movements. So that's it. And this is another layered design. You can kind of see that the stitches are like stick out from the head and the line there. So I was thinking about doing a butterfly or moth mask. So inspired by these eye spots on these moths, and some butterflies have them as well. And so I was thinking it'd be fun to have a mask where these eye spots are the holes that I'm looking through. So I'm going to start by sketching out this idea on paper. Make a little room. So looking at these, so I think I'll make it so the body is kind of on my nose, and then the wing, the lower wing, is where I'll make the hole to see through. So I'll just kind of make a rough sketch to start with of body, and then a lower wing with like this shape. And maybe a little bigger to have room for an eye spot for me to see through. And then the upper wing, I'll do some, maybe a little curved, and do kind of this scalloped edge on the upper wing. And then a couple of fake false eye spots to throw off any predators that might be about. So yeah, that's a very rough idea of what I have in mind. And I think I'll just jump into a new project in Cuttle and get started on that basic shape. So before I do that, actually, one thing that I found useful while designing masks has been to start with a rough eye position, so that as I design the mask around those eyes, then I know that I'll be able to see. I'm zooming out a little bit now. So I'm going to take one circle and put it here to start. Drag the corner to make it a little bigger. Yeah. So the position, I often like click into these position places and just set them to a whole number to be able to drag them as a whole number like that. And I'll make the scale 20 millimeters to start. So this kind of represents one eye for the mask, and I'm going to do the mask centered on here. Since the mask is going to be symmetrical, I'm going to use this mirror repeat modifier a few times during the design of this mask. So now if I move this eye circle around, then the other one will also move and keep everything centered. Something I know from my eyeglasses prescription is the distance between my pupils is 63, I think. And I'm going to use that as a parameter in this component. I won't be using parameters much in this design, but it's kind of a nice way to have a number and be able to use it more than once. So I'm going to call this IPD for interpupil distance. I know mine is 63. And so if I want this distance from the middle of the eyes to be 63, then I'll set this to half of IPD. So now as I change this parameter, then the eye distance will change. So if I want to make this mask for myself and then make it for my kid, my kid has 55, so it's kind of a small difference, but it will help the mask fit them better and make sure they can see through it. So yeah, that's using a parameter, making a new parameter, and then using it in the position of the circle. So those always stay connected and synchronized. Okay. So I'm also going to use, I'm going to add another circle just to have a rough idea of my head shape. So as I'm designing, I can like see that and see how far that will be, how far the mask will stick out from my head. I won't use parameters for that. I'll just drag the sides out and make it kind of a rough estimate. One shortcut that I use a lot is zoom to fit all or zoom to fit selected. So if you see, if I'm somewhere over here and I jump, I'm usually using Command F to get back to be able to see what I have selected. So with these circles, these are a guide for my head and eyes. So there's a feature in the outline if you want to make a guide like this. So I'll hold Shift to select both of these and group. And here next to the visibility toggle, there's a guides toggle. So if I click that once, then it says shapes to guides. And now these head and eyes are my face guide. So I'll call it that. And now when I export this design, these won't come with it. And as I bring more design elements in, if I press Command A to select all, for example, it won't select the guides because usually you don't want to drag them around. Yeah, I think I'll start with the bottom wing now, and I'll use the pen tool. You can press P to get to the pen tool anytime, and V for select and P for pen are useful shortcuts. So the pen tool will make a new path. And the way that I'm going to draw this path, I'm going to start by clicking to make a path with straight edges like this. So this is just going to be a triangle to start, but I'm going to get a rough shape of the bottom wing now by clicking 3 times. And then by clicking here, I close this path, so I can start a new path now, and I'll do the same for the upper wing, just to get the rough shape in there, and come back later to define those curves. So on this edge I sketched 3 scalloped edges, and then we'll just close that path. So now I'm going to go back to the select tool. Now when I click into the path, if I hold the mouse over an anchor, I can move the anchors around. If I click on an anchor, I can nudge them with the arrow keys, so that moves the anchor just by a little bit. If you want to do some accurate nudging. And if you hold the mouse over a segment, then you get this curve tool. So that's what I want to do now. I want to give these wings some curve. I think I can show my sketch. I'm looking at the sketch. So I'll move this over just for this. So as I'm looking at both of them, you can see the sketch as well. Click into the top wing and add some curve there. And this upper part, I think I want this a little over. And the scalloped edges of the top wing, I'll do with this segment curve. Just make a little subtle edge there. And I think I want this a little bit higher so that I have room on the bottom wing for my eye. And move this up so it's kind of, the bottom wing will be under the top wing. Okay. So I think that's an okay start for the wing shape. I'm gonna do the start doing the mirror repeat for these parts as well, so that I can see the design mirrored as I'm working. So each new shape that I add to the design, then I'll need to make sure that it's in that group. And I'll press Command F to fit that to the screen now. Yeah, so I'm going to start thinking about color for this. I have some colors picked out. They're a little more fall colors than winter, but I like these like kind of red and brown and yellow. So I'm going to use something like that for inspiration. So I'm going to select both wings now, and I'll rename these. Actually, that can be helpful as you're working to be able to see in the outline. Oops. So I'll press Shift to select both of those and add a fill. You can see that the fill is covering the bottom outline, which is kind of what I want. I want the top wing to look like it's over the bottom wing. And I'm going to make the main color kind of yellow, I think. Yeah. So I think I want to do the eye spots now, and the first one is important, that it goes around my actual eye guide there, so that I'll be able to see out. So I'm going to drag a circle here, and as you're dragging stuff, it will snap to any corner. So this is the middle, and it tells you under the cursor where you're snapping to. So this says canvas origin. That means the middle of the canvas. Here I'm snapping to the eye, the middle of the eye there. And I can scale this by dragging these corners, but you can also always change the scale by clicking into these numbers here. So I have the circle selected here, and I can change the scale by dragging this number, and it'll stay centered on the eye where I want it. Right. So this is going to be the hole in the eye, in the mask. So I'm going to fill this with white for now, and that's a convention that I'll use later to turn into a hole for the mask, and also put it in the mirrored group so we get it on both sides. Yeah. So I want some color around each of these eye spots. So I'm gonna actually copy and paste this circle that's already here. Or you can also use the duplicate command. That's the same as copy and paste. And so that adds a circle above the one that I had selected. So I want that circle to have be a little bit bigger, and have an orange color. and the sorting here is top to bottom, so I'll need to put the white on top of the orange so that we can see that. And then I'm gonna nudge with the arrow keys this, so just so it's a little bit off center. Yeah, and I'll do that again. So Command D to duplicate that circle. I'm gonna select the lower one and change its color to a reddish, and I can't see it because it's under the orange one now. So when I change that scale, then I can see it. I can nudge with the arrow keys, or I can drag the X and Y position like that. Okay, I'm happy with that to start. So in my sketch, I had similar eye spots on the top wing. So in Cuttle, I could select these circles and copy and paste and move and scale them. But I'm going to do something a little bit different, which is a nice feature that Cuttle has that's a little bit unique. So I'm going to turn these two circles into a component, and then I'll be able to reuse them for the top wing. So extract as component is the command for that. And if I go here, it's actually not on the screen now, so Command F will show me where that is. So now in the butterfly, I have this component B for those circles, and I'm going to rename the component so that when I use it, it'll be easier to see in the outline. So this is Eyespot, and I'll call this one mask. Okay, so now that I have this Eyespot component, I can drag it into the mask and resize it, maybe rotate it a little bit, and just roughly think where I want that. Now this Eyespot is not in the mirrored group, so I'll drag it down to make sure it's reflected. And then I'll duplicate that as well. Another way to duplicate is holding the Control, I think, Option. Oh yeah, Option. Hold Option, and then drag, and then so that's another way to duplicate. I'm going to do that again. Hold Option and drag. Right, and I'll make these ones smaller on the edge of the wing. Yeah. So the eye spot on the bottom wing is going to have my eyes looking through here, but I want to add a darker color to this to these eye spots, and that's one nice thing about working with components is that if I go to the eye spot component and add a circle to this one, make it the size I want, and change the fill to black, for example. Then when I go back to mask, you see all of those eye spots that I used get that get that black circle. And you don't have to go to the component to edit. Like if you want to change this, move this a little bit, in the outline you can open these components. But keep in mind, like as you move these around, then they're moving in all of the versions. So that's that's using and editing components in your design. So there's one more thing that I had in mind for the basic design here. This mask, I did something similar by giving it a dark outline, and that helps to add some contrast to the design. So I'm going to do that with my wings as well, and I'm going to do that by adding a stroke to the two wing paths that I have here. So there's already a default stroke on there and its hairline, and we're going to want a stroke with some width to be able to see it. So I'll uncheck hairline and turn up the width here. I think 2 millimeters is good. So in the stroke options, there's this alignment, and if you choose outer, then the stroke will be drawn outside of the path. The default is centered, so that's how it was when I added it. But I actually want this inner. The shape of the wing that I drew is the shape that I want the actual mask to be. So I want this this inner this stroke to be on the inside of the wing shapes to be able to to add some contrast there. I'm going to move this anchor just a little bit, and notice how these are always reflected. Any changes that you make inside of a modifier, you can always go in and edit these. So let's see. Okay, I think this is a decent start. I'm going to nudge that with the arrow keys a little bit. But I think, let me show you. So there's a modifier that is really helpful for this kind of design that is called layered stack. And I'm going to show an example really quickly of that. There's two that are similar, flatten and layered stack. So let me show you here. I made some examples. So this Cuttle icon ornament I made with layered stack, and so it's the whole black shape for the background, and then you can see this light blue is kind of behind the dark blue, and even here, like where you can't see the light blue from the front, it's still giving it some depth. So this is made with the layered stack modifier. The other one that's similar that I'm not going to use today is flatten. And this one I didn't glue together, but you can see this cardstock, I actually just pressed it in, and so cutting cardstock with the Cricut is accurate enough to do these to make these parts that that will hold together just by pressing them in. Um, Practically, I think I would need to glue some backing to that, but yeah, it's a different aesthetic and maybe definitely useful for different types of projects. For the butterfly mask, we're going to use this layered stack, and I'm gonna add a group around this group now, just because there might be more that I want to do inside the layered stack. So on this group that's holding the design, I'll add that modifier layered stack, and so there's not a big difference when we added that, but if you look closely, you can see the white circle that we had is now a hole. You can see the grid behind it, and that's done. Layered stack has this background color option that whatever you choose, whatever color you choose with that becomes a whole. So like you can see the colors that I've used in the project so far. If I wanted these to be a whole for some reason, I could choose that color. But I had white in mind when I designed it, so that cuts a hole through that. And something that I tried earlier that I liked, I actually added a bit of a stroke to the white circle. And that just gave a little contrast there between the hole and the orange and red. And you'll see when I go back to the layered stack, the white part is still a hole, but we get that stroke around it. So we also have the black visible there. Oh, okay. So one way to visualize what this is actually doing is this distribute option. So when I choose that and zoom out to see the whole thing, now you can see like what this layered stack is doing. So all of these. For example, the Eyespot that had black circle and red and orange. When these small pieces are all stacked up, then you get the design that you actually made. So this distribute option is helpful for visualizing what those actual layers are going to be coming out of there. And something I was playing with earlier that I found helpful. Let's see. Okay. I can actually change how these layers are added up. So while I was doing this design, I was thinking that black would be the background, like the first layer, and then all the colors would be stacked up on that. And the way that layered stack works, it finds the first color, and it says that's going to be the first layer. Then the second color it found was black, and then in here it found the red and orange. And then this black, it doesn't make another black layer. It makes holes in those layers to go to be able to see this black here. So what can you do if you want a specific color to be first in your stack? Well, within here, you can add some shapes and give them the fill that you want. So I'm just gonna add a circle here, and then hold Option and make 4 of them, and this will become my how I define the order of those colors. So I wanted the first color to be black, so I'll select that fill, and I'm going to make this a group and put it in the layered stack so we can see the change as we're going. Here, let me close that to see better. Okay, so now that black is the first color there, when I look at layered stack, you can already see that black is going to be my first layer, and that changes the design of the other layers pretty significantly. You don't have like the thin outline. You actually have this yellow that when the yellow is on top of it, then the black sticks out as the outline. So then I had orange as my second layer. So and then red, and then that yellow. These got a little off. Okay, so now this, I'll call it stack order. So now this, you can see like how different the output is based on setting up this group to explicitly say I want the black first and then these colors. So before I had that in there, it looked like this, with yellow as the first layer, and then if I unhide that stack order, then this is what I actually had in mind while I was designing. So I wanted to do one more thing to connect these, connect all the shapes together. So I'm just going to add a rectangle here, and kind of make a nose piece here, and I want all of those, all the 4 colors to be connected. And if I make yellow the, so if I make this rectangle yellow, and then put it in the layered stack group on top of everything. Now if you look at the distribute, you can see that all the 4 layers are tied together now, which will make it easier to handle and assemble everything. I'm going to make one quick change to this. I want a little curve here for my nose, and then I think that'll be it. So in order to change the shape, because I used a rectangle, I'm gonna convert that rectangle to paths, and then I'll be able to go in and add, double click to add an anchor there, add another anchor there, and curve the nose a little bit. But I think this is enough. Take the stroke off of that. I think this is enough for now. So I'm going to export SVG for Cricut. We have these two options here, and they're pretty similar for this design actually. But we do some optimizations to make it easier to work with in Cricut, by grouping everything with the same color into one shape. So I'll do that. Save that there, and then I'll bring that into Cricut and make sure that looks how I want. If anybody has any connections at Cricut, tell them it would be nice to be able to copy and paste and not have to do this upload every time I'm going to add a design. So I'll upload that, add to Canvas, and so now you can see the four colors are as we have had them laid out in Cuttle there. The dark orange, red, and yellow. Then it should be pretty straightforward to cut that in Cricut, select your materials and all that. So I have, I'm going to do a little cooking show trick. Since the Cricut is a little bit slow and loud, I cut these out beforehand to see how they look when they come out of the Cricut. And yeah, so I can line these up kind of by hand. The nose bridge lines up on all of them, so I can hold that there. And these lines all line up on all of them. And then this brown works as a contrast outline around the whole thing. So the way that I glue these together is I use this Eileen's Tacky Glue. It was recommended by a few paper artists that I follow. Elmer's is fine too. I think this is good, especially with paper and cardstock. I've noticed that it doesn't really warp the paper as it dries, so that's super nice. I think with more intricate designs, and like maybe bigger ones, then spray adhesive can be good. I've done a design like these eye holes. I've used I've made small holes as like for the string to go through, and you could do something similar if you're doing a big design where registration is important. Doing holes and like having some small nails that fit exactly could help with registration. But that can be a little tricky. But I'm just going to glue this one layer together to as illustration. So that's pretty good. I think I could like leave if I wanted to accent a little bit more. I could make it a little bit offset, kind of intentionally. I think I'll just do that pretty quickly, and I actually have another version that's all glued together. I see I'm running a little low on time. So yeah, here's the output. You can see that the depth that this all these layers of cardstock give. It's 4 layers of paper. It's quite sturdy, and I've been thinking about this for a while, but I made some clips that work with my glasses. So this one's not going to have a string, but I should be able to. Right. So. Yeah, I can just take this stack and make it small and stick it behind there, and then it won't come in the output at all. I had a body for the moth that I forgot about, but I can just show that really quick. So this is pretty simple folded design. I didn't do this in Cuttle. I just sketched it and cut it, and then folded the head like this to give it a little crease on the neck, and then folded the tail like that to give a little crease, and then folded this under, and that just gives it a little simple 3-dimensionality. Then the plan was to glue it there, maybe a different color, but there's lots of directions that anybody could take this.